So this meeting of the Barnstable Infrastructure and Energy Committee is being recorded and will be posted for future viewing on the Town of Barnstable website under Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20. Anyone else desiring to make such a recording or transmission must notify the chair. With that, I will turn it over to you, Barry.
Thank you. So, yeah, okay, it's 5:10. So we're going to start, as we normally do, with approving the minutes of the last meeting, which were circulated. So, whether people had a chance to read that, it looked good to me. I guess I will say one thing on the infrastructure in the first page, and this is just a grammatical thing, and it talks about the members that were present, and it says in Jane Ward, whom joined at 5, it should be who joined. Okay.
I'll make that change right now.
All right. So we won't have any complaints from the public that we're not being grammatically correct, incorrect. So. All right. Anyone else have any changes? Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes? Rob, okay, all in favor?
I motion.
Chris, you, oh, I see your hand.
Up. Yep.
It's adopted. All right. So let's move on to old business, green communities. I think and I think this happened since our last meeting. Jane Ward spoke in the town council meeting, just making a public comment as all citizens can do, suggesting that the town council consider adopting the stretch code and go through the process to do that. I think the feedback and basically adopting the stretch code is necessary for the town to be a green community and get the benefits of that. There was a discussion of town council members, and the sense that I got is that after they're considering some budget and I guess what's called the no flow parameter around as I understand it, the sewering process, that they would then consider stretch code. I think that was the sense of the counselors. I think that means July, as far as I understand it. There in June there are 2 meetings in June. It's possible the last meeting in June, but I think it's this summer. So, Kelly, is that your sense as well?
Yeah, definitely. So I know we have the June, what is it? The June 5th meeting. We have budget hearings, so operating budget hearings. I know that at least DPW is part of that. I don't know if there's additional after that. I don't think so. I think they're going to try to get it all done essentially in one meeting, which would mean that the June 19th meeting would kind of be cleaning up, wrapping up some items, ahead of the end of the fiscal year, and then you would likely see those discussions happening the first of the fiscal year, which would be a July meeting.
Yeah, my sense is I thought the last meeting in June was the following week. Is that, do you have your calendar?
It may be, yeah. It might be the 12th. I have to look at the calendar.
Or the 26th, maybe.
Or the 26th. Yep.
Okay, that was okay. But in any event, so it's good that we're getting some traction to consider it. It's not clear to me. Well, we have some town councilors that will support it. I think we probably will have some that will oppose it. And there are some in the middle, or people who haven't articulated what their views are. So So the result, I think, is uncertain at this time. I think the only other thing I've done some looking into the Mass Save program, because the Mass Save program provides benefits for homeowners for new construction, or at least who use heat pumps, or for major renovations, major additions, I guess it's called. And the DPU had ordered like a 5% reduction, and the program administrators, including the Cape Light Compact, have come up with a proposal. And there's for the heat pump program, there's small reductions in the second and third year, not in the first year. So they've come up with a way to address that, and so they've changed actually what they're offering to some extent, and to the rest of it is just changing their processes, which they think will reduce the demand, if you will. So, and that's before the DPU for consideration. So that has an indirect impact on the consideration of the stretch code. But that's all I have. I don't know whether anyone else has anything. Good. Well, let's move on to food waste. John normally takes the lead on that, but he's not here. I was at the transfer station today, and I thought I had noticed, are there new signs for the food waste composting, or did I just never notice them before?
I don't know. I have to check with Tracy. I'm not aware of any new ones that have been developed yet, but I know that was something that we've been requesting. So it could be that they are, and no one told me that they were installed yet.
Or it's possible they were there all this time and I just never paid attention to it before.
Yeah, I mean, we have expressed the desire to have the signage sort of audited and adjusted. So
right, I think it was orange, and I think it was on either side of where you go for food composting. So I think when John gets back, we may consider going out there again and just talking to people and giving away the composting bins. That seemed to be a pretty effective way of talking to people.
I second that.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so unless someone else has something to say about food waste, we can go on to climate change and climate science and hand it over to Chris.
Well, yeah, Barry, don't have a lot. I was actually talking to some people about Sandy Neck to see some possibilities of doing that tour later in the summer. I know there's a bit of a conflict since that's, our Woods Hole Group project, even though I haven't worked on it, but I think I can perhaps pull some stuff and content for that. I just found out I'm going to the UN conference on oceans in Nice on Monday, so I'm frantically getting ready. I just found that on a Friday, so that is one of the reasons why I'm not on camera.
Okay, and where is that going to be held, Chris?
In Nice.
Oh, in Nice.
Yeah.
I hope you get some free time. I've been there, so if you want to have a side conversation about some of the neat things to see there.
Absolutely. Yeah, I built in an extra day or two, so.
Oh, great. Okay.
I'll pick your brain. But yeah, that's all I have right now, Barry.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Next, we had air quality monitoring, and normally Jane takes the lead on that, but she's not here. So I don't know if anyone has anything to say about that. So if not, we'll move to Ron, technology and infrastructure.
And I apologize in advance. I have bronchitis.
So
I'll talk slow and quietly, and that usually seems to keep me from going into a coughing fit that sounds like a seal running from a shark. Which once it starts, I can't stop. So I'll try and keep it somewhat brief. So as we spoke about last time, Steve Smith from the Cape Cod Technology Council gave me a ton of people to reach out to. I've reached out to numerous people, and I've spoken with David Still from the Cape Cod Commission. And David actually sent me over this great report, which I'm not sure if anyone is aware of. It's a digital Barnstable digital equity plan. Have you heard of that?
No, I haven't.
So it was started last year in August. Barnstable Planning and Development Department, along with the Mass Broadband Institute, Mass Technology Collaborative, and the Cape Cod Commission, all got together.
Now, is
And
this the county of Barnstable or the town of
this is
Barnstable?
not, this is the town of Barnstable.
Oh, okay. All right.
The
Yeah.
town of Barnstable. And just 2 weeks ago, this plan was published. It's an 83-page report. So I kind of picked out just a few things. Like I said, I didn't want to go on and talk forever. And you can actually find the report on Cape Cod Commission, and I'm sure I'll be pulling other information down the line out of it and using it as a resource because it's a very good one.
Yeah, Ron, is this something you could circulate to?
I will. Yep.
Okay,
I will send that along to the group, that link. But Mass is actually one of the highest percentages, one of the highest percentages of internet subscribers in the country at 92% of its residents. And Barnstable County is actually even higher than that at 95%. But with that said, 30%, and this is according to the FTC, 30% of Barnstable residents are considered underserved. And what that means is, again, it's qualified as insufficient broadband internet access, areas that have speeds of less than 100 Mbps, megabytes per second. So the eight Cape towns were actually awarded just last July, I believe it was, a $30 million grant, with Barnstable being one of those 8 Cape towns, to expand high-speed access to those areas. And again, about 30% of the town of Barnstable is considered in that realm. So again, I think it comes down to if this funding will happen, and if they will get the actual monies needed. I spoke with David Eisenberg, who I actually have a call with tomorrow. David is a board member on the Falmouth Broadband Municipal Light Program, which is chartered by the Select Board. And what they've been doing is exploring deals with private network builders, to build an actual town-owned fiber optic broadband network. So I'm going to talk to him more about that tomorrow. I have a call at 11 a.m. with him. And last I was reading up with it a little bit. Obviously, there's a little bit of controversy in the town of Falmouth. People don't necessarily want their tax dollars to increase because of a town-owned network. It looks like it'd be about $10 to $12 million to have a company come in and run all that. But I look forward to getting more information from him on that. And then I also, tomorrow at 2 o'clock, have a call scheduled with Brian McCarter, who is one of our partners over in Bourne on the Cable, Internet, and Telecom Committee. And they actually invited me to join their meeting, which is similar to this meeting. It's Thursday morning at 9 a.m. So I'm trying to shuffle a couple things around so I can be a part of that, because it looks like they have a pretty good agenda. So yeah, that's I got some things in the works to learn more, and I'm continuing to learn and look up what these little letters next to things mean, because a lot of it's tough to understand, and it's not really for the lay person like I am. But it looks like we are in a good position here. Like Steve had said when I spoke to him at the beginning of the month from the Tech Council, that I am kind of learning about this at a good time, because it is coming down the pike here with expanded higher speed internet access on the Cape.
That's terrific. I just a question. You said that
Yes.
30% of the town of Barnstable is underserved. Is
Mhm.
is this kind of a rural urban split?
That's what it seems like.
Yeah.
According to the FTC, so 39% of the Barnstable residents that were polled in this study believed that they were in internet, that they weren't satisfied with the internet speed. However, the FTC says if you break down the actual numbers under 100 Mbps, it's actually about 30%.
Okay, and is this you know, for example, if you're a Xfinity or Comcast
Sure.
customer, which is I think what people are around here, that's the only option.
There are, and I looked at, there's actually a statistic in this report that I'll circulate around that yes, a majority is going to be Comcast in the town of Barnstable, but there's a very small, I want to say like T-Mobile is a couple hundred, have the cell-based 5G internet over cell service. It was a few hundred there. Verizon was a few hundred, and then AT&T, it was like under 100 people, I believe, in the town of Barnstable. So a majority, yes, of that, you know, of that percentage, that large percentage of people, 95% in Barnstable County. I'm not sure what that number is in the town of Barnstable, but I would say probably 93 to 94% of people with the internet access are Comcast.
Right, so if they're the same companies, so in terms of the speeds, is this something that people that higher speeds are available, what people elect, or is this just parts of the town don't have the system built out as much, so it has lower speeds?
Yeah, so it seems as though, and Comcast is in there making a statement as well, saying that 31% just last year, they were able to actually up the speeds because of increased infrastructure service. And Comcast does have a lot of fiber in the town of Barnstable. However, and I'm unsure with this number, and that was one of the things I was trying to look into. How much does it pertain to commercial? How much does it pertain to residential? Because I know that Comcast does have a heavy footprint in the commercial sector for fiber-based internet. But I'm not sure if that number is incorporated with these statistics that the equity plan did.
Okay. So whether their numbers are just residential or just everybody combined.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. That I'm not sure of, but
Okay.
that would make sense. Yeah. So look forward to picking these gentlemen's brains a bit more because they obviously are well versed and this is their background. So I just keep learning week by week.
Well, that's great. And it's good that you're learning and you're teaching us. So that's great.
And I'm also signed up, like I said, when I joined this group, I'm a continued learner. So I'm taking a renewable energy class online as well. And I'm learning a lot about renewable energies and, you know, how they compare with the fossil fuels and whatnot. And they touch base on climate science a little bit, not nearly as good as Chris does, but just trying to learn to do my part.
Right. So, you know, one thing I probably should, it's more administrative, I should bring up. I received a request to, I guess, get a conflict of interest certificate, which I assume other people did as well. It involves, on an annual basis, really signing an acknowledgement that you've read the summary that they provide on the conflict of interest law. And then every 2 years is actually taking like a little course and passing it. So I've received that. I have other people as well.
I haven't, I don't think.
Rob or Chris?
No, I haven't either. No.
So I assume it's the members and not just the chair, right?
Yeah, didn't a bunch of you guys do this last year? Didn't you do this last year?
Well, yes, we did it last year, but apparently I was looking at what I was sent. So the course, if you will, is something that's done every other year. But what's done every year is just they give you a summary of the conflict of interest law, and then you sign an acknowledgement that you've read it. And that apparently is to be done every year.
Yeah,
Um,
typically we do get a reminder when that it's coming up on that sort of deadline. So I haven't got anything yet, but if I see it, I will definitely let you guys know. Usually the town manager's office reaches out to anyone who's a liaison for committees to remind them as well. So
oh,
I'm sure it's probably coming because I feel like it's usually around the summertime.
yeah. And Gordon, is our liaison, and as some of you may know, Gordon is recovering from an operation for his cancer. So it's possible he was sent this, but he may have.
I would be sent it too, though, as your liaison, as your staff
Okay.
liaison.
Oh, so okay,
Yeah,
as opposed to the town council liaison. All right,
right.
yeah. Okay. Let's see. For new business, we have solar. The first is Solar Sunday to discuss possibility of coordinating an outreach educational event. I know Jane had an idea, but and this is my recollection, but I thought that was one possibility, but we were focusing on doing an event at Sandy Neck with Chris taking the lead. And I think Chris talked about that just a few minutes ago. Is that correct, Chris?
Yeah. Yep.
Um, so what's the next step on that?
I guess working on logistics and seeing availabilities, seeing when the town would be okay with us holding this, to see if they're, if you want me to reach out to some of my coworkers that have been more involved in the project. But I think we were thinking towards August, right? I think that was our
Yeah, I think so.
last meeting. When things are warmer, people are around. So
Okay, yeah, it sounds a good idea. I know you're very busy, but that would be that'd be great. You could do that. Yeah, and to the extent there can help you from a logistic side, I know that I'd be willing to help. Probably not until the end of June or so, but I'm going to be busy doing other stuff.
okay.
Yeah. Um, I think the agenda for the next meeting, we're actually going to have an in-person meeting at the DPW's offices. So that'll be fun. I hope you can all make it.
Yeah, and I figured in terms of how it will run, Chris will be here most likely. I have a childcare conflict right now, but I might be able to schedule things around it. So it'll either be Chris or myself that will run the meeting. We can still have a normal meeting, and we can record it from our screen. It'll just record all of you essentially around a table, but it picks up the audio. So we can still have our normal typical meeting if that's what you all want to do, and then whatever you want to do sort of afterwards that isn't recorded, you're free to do as well.
Okay, so basically people can come, but they could also, if they can't come, they can participate remotely.
Yep, the Zoom will still work. Everything's shifted over to Wednesday. So yeah, however we want to make it work. And I can send a reminder on to everyone as we kind of work out what the agenda is going to look like.
Okay. Great. All right. I think we'll keep pretty much the same agenda, but we may wing it a little bit. I know this will be Rob's last meeting with us, and um, so we'll certainly talk about that a little bit. Assigned tasks. I don't know whether we really have any. I think once we get a sense of what the town council will do with the stretch code, I think then we'll have a discussion. What we as a committee or what we as individuals might do with respect to that. And that's all I have. Anyone else?
Chris, if you need any assistance with logistics or planning or, you know, anything that someone who can do, you know, that doesn't need
Thanks,
to know
Ron.
the science behind science, I'm happy to be boots on the ground.
All right, awesome. Yeah, when I'm back, we'll touch base. That'd be great.
Absolutely.
Good, yeah, and I think for the next few weeks, I'm not going to be, Chris, able to help, but after that, I can too. I could do that instead of mowing my lawn.
That sounds good.
All right. Well, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Moved.
Yeah, okay,
Second.
All right, all in favor? We're adjourned. Thank you. We'll see you next month.